Shmai Bab a croeso I Dosbarth Cymraeg. Today we're talking about pronouns and gender identity. Sexual orientation will be covered in a separate video. So let's get some keywords out of the way. Name is enw, pronoun is ragenu, sex is rhyw, and gender is rhywedd. Gender identity is hunaniaeth rhywedd. Hi, nan, iaith, rhywedd. Nice and easy. Now this is where it gets a little bit complicated because pronouns don't work in Welsh the same way they do in English. So as I've already covered in a previous video, there are two ways to say he in Welsh, depending on whereabouts in the country you live and what dialect you're speaking. So in the north we use o and vo, but in the south they use e and ve. She is a bit easier, there's only one version of that. He. Yes, it does sound like the English masculine pronoun. Now, if you're non-binary or you prefer gender-neutral pronouns, there is nhw for they. There was a petition last year to get u with a torbach to be the new gender-neutral pronoun, but unfortunately this was rejected by the Senedd. English language allows you to be a lot more creative, and the use of neopronouns and gender-neutral terminology is not really coming into Cymraeg as quickly as it's coming into English. So just be aware that the system is still changing, and who knows, maybe we'll get a gender-neutral pronoun sometime in the near future. Okay, so if that's he, she, and they covered, how do you say his, hers, and theirs? Well, it's a little bit more complicated. So we're going to take ki, for example, which means dog. To say her dog, you say e, ki, he. Confused? Don't worry, it's absolutely fine. To say their dog, you say e, ki, nhw. You're probably noticing that e and look a little bit different. Is one of them singular? Is one of them plural? Well, the answer is yes and no. Just like in English, they is a singular and a plural pronoun, but the spelling reflects it looking like it is plural. I have a friend who uses they them pronouns, and they incorporated this little trick. It's not a perfect fix, but I guess it will do until the government gets on board. So instead of using e nhw, they use e nhw. It might not make a big difference, but if it helps you reflect your own gender identity a bit easier, go for it. The language is yours to do with what you will, as long as people understand the message you're trying to get across. It doesn't matter, does it? This is all language is. It's just a way of communicating, and if this is how you better communicate who you are, go for it. You certainly won't be hearing any complaints from me. Okay, so let's move on to some actual terminology here. Man is dyn, and depending on where you live in the country, woman could be dinas or menw. Menw is sort of becoming like the standard all over Wales usage, but dinas is still used in some parts of the country. Masculine is gwrywaidd, and feminine is benywaidd. But you also have fem for fem. If you're non-binary, there's two ways that you can say it. Aneuaidd or di-ddeuaidd. It's up to you. Both mean pretty much the same thing. If you identify as agender or genderless, the term is neutral or rhan rhywedd. Neutral or rhan rhywedd. It's a bit of a mouthful. And third gender is trydydd rhywedd. For those of you who are gender fluid, it's rhywedd cyfnewidiol. Rhywedd cyfnewidiol. Cisgender is cydryweddol. And transgender is traws for just trans, or trawsrhyweddol for transgender. And then depending on how you identify, you can also say dyn trawsrhyweddol neu menw trawsrhyweddol. If you're intersex, the word is rhyngryw. And I'm also going to give you some more words relating to the trans experience. Transitioning is trawsnewid. Transphobia is trawsphobia. Hopefully nobody does this to you, but in case you need to call them out on it, dead naming is camenwi. 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 Gender dysphoria is dysphoria rhywedd. Gender expression is mynegiant rhywedd. Mynegiant rhywedd. And for gender reassignment, it's Albaeni rhywedd. Ail, den, I, rhywedd. Now obviously, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, the language is still evolving and we do not currently have the same kind of freedom to just create new terms like you do in English. So I will try my best to keep you up to date with new words as they pop up in the dictionary, but if you want to keep an eye on developments yourself, you can check out Stonewall's Cymraeg glossary, and I'll also leave a couple more links in the description so you can find some more resources that might be helpful. And not that I need to remind you, but your identity is your own. Feel free to use whatever terminology you like. Diolch yn fawr iawn am wylio pawb. Welai chi cyn bo hir. Hwyl fawr.